The weights are my tools. I build my physique with them. My general philosophy on training is that the weights are there to serve me. I'm not in the business of fighting weights. I'm not a slave to their demands. I am the boss. My method of training is based on strict form, peak contraction, and sustained tension. When I struggle to complete the final rep of a set, I like to think I'm squeezing it out, the last bit of effort. I believe my method is a refinement of the Weider forced rep principle. I use moderately heavy weights that allow me to perform movements in strict form. I like to concentrate on the actual contraction of the muscle during the entire range of motion. When I reach the top position of an exercise, I hold the weight for a second or two at the maximum tension and then release for a slow return movement. You don't get size just by using heavy weights. What determines muscularity and development is proper training, strict style, and concentration. The mind plays a very important part in developing muscle, and you cannot concentrate if you're putting all your effort into just getting the weight up. In the short intervals between sets, I make use of the isotension principle, continually flexing the muscles I have worked to keep the blood flowing in them. You have to be concerned with getting blood into the area. Flexing also helps to develop contractile force, educating the nervous system to fire more stimuli into the muscles. Flexing plays a major role in muscle development and should be practiced to the fullest. When I do an exercise, it may take me 3 to 4 seconds to raise the weight, and even longer for the return movement. By definition, strict movements take longer. My training methods revolve around concentration. I don't even like to have a training partner. A partner is good if you're doing heavy powerlifting exercises, and I will use heavy weights on such lifts as the bench press, deadlift, and squat. In bodybuilding training, however, I like to get inside my body. That means concentrating. People are seldom on the same wavelength. I prefer to feel the weights in my own way. I don't appreciate someone extorting me to greater effort. It distracts me. I consider it outside interference. I am a professional who, by now, knows his own capabilities. During a workout, I am in a steady state of awareness. I am communicating with my body. I tend to lose that contact if I use very heavy weights because my chief concern then becomes lifting the weight, not developing my body. While I'm working out, I often visualize what my body is going to look like. I remember something Ray Menser wrote regarding visualization. He said that in order to stimulate his imagination in the gym, he even thought about heroic comic book characters. Well, I don't take it to that extent, but visualization is an important part of my training. I have reached a state of development that can be improved only by refinement. My training is slanted towards refinement. Density, cuts, definition, and peak development. My present method of training is best for the muscular qualities I need to compete at the professional level. The beginner should compromise to some extent. He should not use such heavy weights that they tend to stress the joints and tendons more than the muscles. The beginner should use weights that he can handle correctly. If he's doing cheating movements, a powerful advanced training system, he should be aware that he is using that system and not simply making a random effort to lift a lot of weight. He should know that the cheating principle does not work well even for advanced bodybuilders if too much weight is used. The problem with cheating, especially for the beginner, is that it becomes a habit. When it comes time not to cheat, you may think you're doing strict form, but you're not. You're still cheating. I think the beginner has a better chance of getting mass by increasing his calorie intake than by slipshod use of heavy weights. After you have reached a body weight compatible with your bone structure and height, you can adopt the method I use. I truly believe you can't totally refine your physique without using my method. One thing, however, I don't separate the muscularity and refinement from the development. I treat them much the same. When I first begun training under Bill Pearl, I would handle as much weight as I could, but in very strict style, even in the squat. When I went home after these workouts, I drank certified raw milk and ate peanut butter, bananas, raisins, and dates. I consumed enough calories to make it possible for me to handle heavy weights in the next workout. It takes calories to build muscle mass and strength. After 19 years of bodybuilding, I have come to the conclusion that size and definition are determined by diet, not by training methods. I aim for 12 repetitions on most exercises. For the beginner, I would suggest 10 reps. I do 3 exercises of 6 sets each per body part, a total of 18 sets. I may also do 2 flushing sets of 15 to 20 reps. That's a lot of work for one body part, but I only work that hard as a contest approaches. In normal training, I prefer to do 12 sets per body part with slightly heavier weights, and I don't diet as strictly. For a 5-year period, prior to my return to competitive bodybuilding in late 1979, I worked heavy, doing about 8 reps, but always in the strictest form. Doing fewer reps, say 5, would not have been sufficient to get a high volume of blood into the muscle. I was working heavier, but my diet made it possible. When you're dieting strictly, you have to make do with the ration fuel. Since I was consuming more calories, I could work heavier, although it didn't seem heavier. A 35-pound dumbbell when you're dieting feels heavier than a 55-pound dumbbell when you're not. I believe vitamins and minerals are particularly important when you're training for competition. Before a contest, when you're taking in limited amounts of natural food, you need supplements to give you energy and drive. It's difficult to tell exactly what vitamins, minerals, and supplements do for you, but there is proof that when you're training hard, your immune system begins to weaken due to the physical stress. Thus, you become vulnerable to debilitating ailments. It has been shown that athletes who take vitamins, minerals, and supplements during hard training have a lower incidence of these ailments. As a bodybuilder gets older, I think supplements become even more important. Bodybuilders make far greater demands on their bodies than the average person. Consequently, they need more of the supportive elements. In summary, the core of my training method is tension, flexing, concentration, and a sense of self. Whatever it takes to get maximum response from my muscles. This is what gives me shape, definition, density, and muscle quality. Heavy training alone may develop thicker muscles, but the resulting appearance is more like that of a powerlifter with muscular separation. The refinement is absent. I see bodybuilding as a form of technology that has evolved to a high degree of sophistication. Perfection comes with time, work, experience, and open-mindedness. There are no shortcuts. I know from experience that it's glorious to stand on the Mr. Olympia posing platform, but I think the pursuit of perfection itself is the most ennobling experience of all.